Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Continuing Education, SOCA. Master of Science in Counseling and Family Therapy, MSc-CFT. First year, MCFT 002 Mental Health and Disorders. Block 1 Introduction to Health and Disorders. Unit 2 Dimensions of Psychosocial Stress and Coping, 2.1 Introduction. Man, being a social animal, is constantly in an ongoing interaction with his environment. Life of an individual or group of individuals can't be considered in isolation, and one needs to consider the role of others, life events and the immediate and distant environment. These life events and environmental factors exert demands on the individuals which evoke responses in them. The responses are governed by the specific situation and are fueled by the resources available with a particular individual. The resources might include the intrinsic factors, psychological and physical, and extrinsic factors, other individuals and environmental factors. Also, the situation is dynamic and ever-changing. The change is seen both quantitatively, change in severity or intensity, and qualitatively, varied situations. Thus, the responses need to modify accordingly. The current unit focuses on these aspects that are the life events and situations, the interaction of the individual with them and the responses generated. In other words, the issues related with psychosocial stress and coping would be dealt within this unit. Objectives. After studying this unit, you will be able to define stress and describe the concept of stress, describe different theories and models of stress, explain the role of stress in functioning and disease, and have an overview of the management of stress. 2.2 Defining stress. Stress is something that all of us experience all along our lives. Psychosocial stress, a perceived challenge to well-being, is an indispensable and influential part of life. The nature of the stress keeps changing. We would begin by understanding the concept of stress. 2.2.1 What is stress? Stress is a commonly used term. It has been used in different contexts with different meanings. It has been studied by different disciplines including psychology, psychiatry, nursing, medicine, sociology, ergonomics, anthropology, pharmacology, physiology and neurobiology. Stress can be defined as a real or interpreted threat to the physiological or psychological integrity of an individual that results in physiological and behavioral responses. It is said that people strive to obtain and protect resources. Stress ensues when there is a threatened or actual loss of resources. Psychologically, stress is a threat, the anticipation of a future confrontation with harm, based on cues which are appraised by cognitive processes. Stress can also be seen as the reaction of people who are under excessive pressures and other types of demands placed on them. Wayne Whiten described stress as any circumstance that threatens or is perceived to threaten one's well-being and that thereby taxes one's coping abilities. It can also be conceptualized in terms of an imbalance between the perception of demand and the perception of the ability to cope with it. 2.2.2 Stress as event, process and effect. Stress has been conceptualized in the literature as either a stimulus, the cause, a response, the result, or as a process in itself, combining both stimulus and response. All three of these models have been utilized in each of the disciplinary approaches, whilst there has been a tendency to match between particular models and measurement approaches. Stress, thus, refers both to an event and the consequences of that event. Thus, the term stress subsumes two components: stressor, stressful events, and stress response, strain. Stressor are the events or situations that have a potential to sink the homeostasis of the individual. The stress response is the change that occurs in the individual to put it back in balance and re-establish homeostasis. Stressor can be either physical or psychological aspects of the external environment or internal factors. The stress response is frequently referred to as the fight or flight response, in which an alarm is set off in the brain and the body prepares for defensive action. In fact, the stressor need not be actually present to elicit the stress response. At times, the mere anticipation of the stressor can lead on the stress response. 2.2.3 Historical aspects. The initial conceptualization of stress differed from the modern-day understanding. In fact, the concept of stress has been through a multitude of changes over the centuries. The use of the term stress to represent suffering and adversity dates back to the 15th century. Till the 17th century, stress was synonymous with notions such as hardship, straits, adversity, or affliction. The physiological aspect of the stress, or more precisely the consequent stress response, was looked into by Cannon in the 1920s. Cannon contributed with the introduction of the concept of fight or flight as an adaptive function of human beings and suggested more speculatively that the physiological processes produced by this reaction were influenced by emotional states. However, it was not until the middle of the 20th century that the modern understanding of the concept of stress started assuming its shape. The first modern notion of stress was proposed by Selye in the 1950s. Lazarus introduced his psychological theory of stress. Parallel to these works, the role of life events in the causation and course of different health conditions was observed and proposed by clinicians. William Harvey in the 17th century and William Osler in the 19th century frequently alluded to the relationship between adverse life events and illness onset. In the early to mid-1800s, Philippe Pinel and Amaria Brigham proposed that the expression of mental illness was affected by societal factors including life circumstances. Over the years, the work in this area has explored the newer dimensions and various explanations and models have been proposed. These include the biomedical, psychological and sociological perspectives on stress among others. 2.3 Theories of stress. As mentioned earlier, stress has been studied by different disciplines including psychology, medicine, including psychiatry, and sociology among others. These disciplines have conceptualized stress in light of their governing principles. 2.3.1 The biomedical perspective. The biomedical perspective emphasizes the adaptive bodily responses to the stressor. Selye's general adaptation syndrome (GAS) model based on the physiological response of the body to any demand made upon it is an example of this perspective. Thus, stress has been seen as a process and event that can be studied in terms of bodily responses like changes in temperature, blood pressure, heart rate, blood cholesterol levels, urinary catecholamine concentrations, corticosteroid levels, blood glucose concentration etc. in response to stress. Sympathetic adrenal medullary (SAM) system and the hypothalamic pituitary adrenocortical (HPA) axis are two pathways that govern these bodily responses to the stressor. Psychoneuroimmunology and psychoneuroendocrinology are two branches of medicine that deal with the interaction of stress with the immune system and endocrinal system, respectively. Hans Selye introduced the general adaptation syndrome (GAS) theory of stress. Selye held that in spite of the change being a normal and inexorable feature of social life, all change is potentially harmful because all change requires adjustment. This early conceptualization of stress implied that stress was a disease of adaptation. Stress in the general adaptation syndrome (GAS) model is characterized by an alarm reaction where natural resistance is lowered, but body defenses are mobilized, a resistance stage which leads to increased resistance and adaptation, and a final stage where the energy for adaptation is exhausted and collapse ensues. The general adaptation syndrome (GAS) theory emphasized the non-specificity of the systemic physiological response to the stressor. 2.3.2 The psychological perspective. Role of the personality factors, inter-individual variance in stress response is addressed by the psychological perspective on stress. In the stress suppression model, stress exposure mobilizes a resource, which then alleviates stress by affecting its appraisal responses to the stressor, further stress proliferation or the relation between stress and ill health. The stress deterrent model portrays resources as causally antecedent to stress. Resources reduce the exposure to stress, including stress proliferation, rather than its impact on health. Another model conceptualizes stress and resources as having separate and opposite effects while remaining completely independent of one another. Resources counterbalance the stressor, but do not buffer stress because support operates even in the absence of stress. The Lazarus theory has been the main psychologically oriented theory on stress. According to this theory, two concepts are central to any psychological stress theory: appraisal, that is, individuals' evaluation of the significance of what is happening for their well-being, and coping, that is, individuals' efforts in thought and action to manage specific demands. Thus, the stress is regarded as a relational concept, that is, stress is not defined as a specific kind of external stimulation nor a specific pattern of physiological, behavioral or subjective reactions. Instead, stress is viewed as a relationship transaction between individuals and their environment. 2.3.3 The sociological perspective. Sociological approaches to stress research have tended to focus on analyzing differences in group vulnerability with particular emphasis on gender, class, race, and cultural differences. The sociological perspective attempts to provide an Overall understanding of why health inequalities mirror social inequalities in terms of the social distribution of stress. Sociological approaches to stress seek stressor in the organization of lives and in the structure of experience rather than among unrelated risk factors. 2.4 Models of stress. In this section we will discuss different models of stress. Let us discuss emotional and cognitive models of stress. 2.4.1 Emotional and cognitive models. Stress has been defined as an emotional tension rising from life events, or as a feeling of threat to someone's safety or self-esteem. Lazarus defined stress as a stimulus condition that results in a form of disequilibrium in the system, producing a kind of strain and changes in the system. In its broadest sense, stress refers to all physical, psychological or social phenomena that tax or exceed an organism in such a way that physical, psychological or social change results. The cognitive view of stress focuses on interruption and subsumes the idea of overload. The basic premise of interruption theory is the well-documented finding that autonomic activity results whenever some organized action or thought process is interrupted. Interruption is the disconfirmation of expectancy or the non-completion of some initiated action. The degree of autonomic activity caused by the interruption of organized processes depends both on the degree of organization of the interrupted process and the severity of the interruption. The gap between the systemic and cognitive viewpoints on stress is bridged by the resource theories of stress. The resource theories of stress are not primarily concerned with factors that create stress, but with resources that preserve well-being in the face of stressful encounters. The social and personal constructs proposed include social support, sense of coherence, hardiness, self-efficacy and optimism. The conservation of resources (CORE) theory assumes that stress occurs in any of three contexts: when people experience loss of resources, when resources are threatened, or when people invest their resources without subsequent gain. 2.4.2 The stress response. Whenever an individual is faced with a stress, it generates response in it. This response is a complex combination of multiple components including emotional, depression, anxiety, anger, rage, physiological, fight-flight, resistance, exhaustion, behavioral, coping strategies, defense mechanisms, factors. As per Selleys, gas alarm is the first stage. When the threat or stressor is identified or realized, the body's stress response is in a state of alarm. This stage is characterized by the fight or flight response. The stage of alarm is followed by the stage of resistance. To cope with the ongoing stress, the body begins to try to adapt to the strains or demands of the environment. However, there is a limit to the body's ability to resist, and consecutively its resources are gradually depleted. This leads on to the third stage of the stress response, that is exhaustion. Once all of the body's resources are eventually depleted and the body is unable to maintain normal function, decompensation may resulting in exhaustion. 2.4.3 Newer models of stress. Modern-day study of stress and stress response primarily focuses on three models: stimulus-based model, also called objective stress model; response-based model, also called subjective stress model; and the interactional model. The stimulus-based model of stress, based on the biomedical perspective, emphasizes the central role of life events or traumas. Thus, stress based on this model is the sum of biological and psychological stimuli caused by any aggression on an organism. The response-based model is based on the psychological perspective and utilizes chronic stressor as a measurement approach. As a result, the stress is the response of an organism to a noxious or threatening condition. The interaction model measures the day-to-day hassles and is governed by the sociological perspective, the process in which environmental demands tax or exceed the adaptive capacity of an organism results into the shape of stress. 2.5 Types of stress. Stress can be classified in different ways. This section deals with different types of stress. 2.5.1 Classification based on nature of stress. Based on the nature of the stress, it could be classified as biological stress or psychological stress. The examples of biological stress would include pregnancy, road traffic accidents, etc., while the psychological stress refers to frustrations, conflicts and changes that one suffers. 2.5.2 Classification based on severity of stress. Based on the severity, stress could be classified as everyday stress or hassles and exceptional stress. Examples for everyday stress are job stress, relationship problems, etc., and examples of exceptional stress are combat trauma, rape, etc. 2.5.3 Eustress and distress. Contrary to the popular belief, stress need not always be bad. In fact, there are two types of stress, namely good stress and bad stress. The bad stress has been called as distress, while the good stress is also known as eustress. The bad stress makes one anxious and irritable, dampens the spirit due to its adverse psychological and physical effects. Eustress provides stimulation and challenge and is essential for development, growth and change. Good stress can also be related to motivation. 2.5.4 Classification based on temporal relation of stress. Response with the stressor. Stress can also be classified based on the time course of the stress. The stress could be experienced prior to the actual stressful event, during the course of the event, immediately after the event, or after some time has elapsed since the stressful event ended. Charles categorizes stress into 4 types. These are 1. Anticipatory stress, stress caused by concern over the future. 2. Situational stress, stress of the moment. 3. Chronic stress, stress that persists over time. 4. Residual stress, stress of the past. 2.5.5 Classification based on the duration of stress. Based on the duration, the stress could be classified as either acute stress, short term, or chronic stress, long term. Freud's classification. Freud classified stress into 3 types, that are catastrophic stress, acute stress, and the endemic stress. The catastrophic stress refers to the major disasters affecting a large section of the population. The acute stress refers to the result of the stressor that require immediate response. The endemic stress refers to the continuing ongoing stress. 2.5.6 Other types of stress. Cumulative stress refers to the amalgamation of current stressor with previous significant traumas that continue to be sources of stress. The term operant stress refers to a combination of recent and distal life events as well as chronic stressor that affect an individual at any one point in time. The concept of stress proliferation is a sequence of events in which a primary stressor leads to secondary stressor. For example, the loss of a loved one, a life event, may lead to social isolation, chronic stressor. 2.6 Stress and health. Now, let us discuss what is the need to study stress and how stress affects health of an individual. 2.6.1 Why to study stress? As explained above, the stress response is body's usual response to the stressor. That is the individual's way of reacting to the event. This reaction seems to serve an adaptive function in that it helps the individual to effectively deal with a specific situation and restore the state of homeostasis. However, one might not be lucky on every occasion. Depending on the severity of the stressor and individual's resources, the stressor can overwhelm these adaptive resources. Stressor may tax or exceed the adaptive capacity of an organism, resulting in biological and physiological changes which may be detrimental and place the organism at risk for disease. In fact, it has been stated that with sufficient activation, the stress response can become more damaging than the stressor itself. This concept underlies the emergence of much stress-related disease. 2.6.2 How does stress affect health? The negative health consequences of stress are well documented. The human response to psychosocial stress is directly implicated in hypertension and subsequent vascular diseases. It is also implicated in reduced immune function, complicated pregnancies, reduced fertility, gastrointestinal disease and psychiatric conditions. For centuries, physicians and patients have made the association between adverse life events and illness. The relation of the concept of stress with health and ill health started taking a definitive shape in the 1960s. Since then there has been increase in interest and evidence of psychosocial determinants of health within the field of public health. Stress has been implicated in a number of conditions of disrupted physical and psychological health. There are 2 main pathways through which stress can lead to the state of ill health: effect on somatic health and disease development, the direct pathway, and stress expressed through health-damaging behaviors, the indirect pathway. A number of models useful in understanding how psychological stress has an impact on health have been proposed. These include the cardiovascular reactivity hypothesis and allostatic load model. According to the cardiovascular reactivity hypothesis, exaggerated cardiovascular responding to stress is a marker or mediator of the development of coronary heart disease and essential hypertension. The allostatic load model emphasizes the role of the allostasis in maintenance of the body's equilibrium. In allostasis, unlike homeostasis, the body does not conserve the same internal state but, rather, establishes a new equilibrium after disruption. While the usual turning on and off these systems is adaptive, overstimulation or malfunctioning of these systems leads to allostatic load. This allostatic load can lead to disease over long periods. 2.6.3 Effect of stress on physical and mental health. Stress has been implicated in different physical and mental diseases and disorders. This association has been reported with cardiovascular conditions, atherosclerosis, myocardial infarction, infectious diseases, viral diseases, such as herpes simplex, influenza, and Coxsackie virus, HIV, AIDS, autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, and cancers. Stress can play a role in form of a predisposing, precipitating, or propagating factor in these conditions. Also, it could be responsible for poor treatment response and relapse. The role of stress on these disorders is mediated through a multitude of factors. Stress causes activation of the sympathetic nervous system, SNS, and the hypothalamic pituitary adrenocortical axis, with responses that include increase in body temperature, blood pressure, heart rate, and plasma glucocorticoid concentration. The well-described effects of the SNS are mediated through alpha and beta adrenergic receptors located on the heart and throughout the vascular system, which includes the stimulation of renin secretion and subsequent increase in angiotensin II production. Psychosocial stress increases arterial pressure and also has been linked to chronic renal and cardiovascular disease, including hypertension. Long-term effects of social challenges on a number of physiological and behavioral parameters have also been reported, mainly involving the daily rhythms of heart rate and body temperature, food intake, and social activity. Stress also alters the immune functions and the mediators of the immune response in the body. Almost all psychiatric disorders are related to stress in some way or the other. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, acute stress disorder, adjustment disorders, ATPD, enduring personality changes, postpartum disorders, dissociative disorders, depression, schizophrenia have been associated with stress of different kinds. Stress is either a precipitating or an aggravating factor for most of these disorders. 2.7 Management of stress. This section summarizes the methods to study stress and the interventions for stress management. 2.7.1 How to study stress. Every individual is subject to the changes in her or his environment. These changes can be due to the interpersonal relations, the situations created by different life events, or the demands the life puts on us. Moreover, each individual deals with these events and situations in her or his way depending on the situation, appraisal of the situation, and the kind of resources available to deal with them. There have been three main approaches to the measurement of stress. Life events, chronic stressor and daily hassles or uplifts. Events such as birth of the first child, divorce, or death of a significant other are examples of life events. Life events are discrete, acute, observable events which require major behavioral readjustments within a relatively short period of time and are essentially self-limiting in nature. Life events have traditionally been equated with objective, discrete events that are not the result of the individual's psychological function. Chronic stressor are relatively enduring, persistent, or recurrent demands, conflicts, threats, or problems which require readjustments over prolonged periods of time, for example disabling injury, poverty. There are several different types of chronic stressor, including frustration of role expectations and role overload, interpersonal conflicts within role sets, inter-role conflict, role captivity, role restructuring, and ambient stressor. As opposed to the life events, chronic stressor are seen as subjective and influenced by emotional functioning. Hassles and uplifts are mini events, which require small behavioral adjustments during the course of the day, for example, traffic jams. 2.7.2 Interventions for stress. Since stress beyond the coping capabilities of an individual can be counterproductive, it needs to be managed appropriately. Different approaches have been developed to manage the stress. Two primary approaches to the stress management are the ecological stress perspective and the stress adaptation perspective. The first of these approaches focuses on changing the environment to better accommodate and reduce stress in individuals across three relevant dimensions like control, uncertainty, and social support. The second approach encourages the individual to adapt to the environment to reduce stress and focuses on three factors, i.e., generalized expectancies of control, tolerance for ambiguity, and self-reliance. Cognitive behavioral therapy methods are one of the commonest employed strategies to help individuals deal with stress. Cognitive appraisals about stressful events and the coping efforts related to these appraisals play a major role in determining stress response. These aim at helping individuals become more aware of their own cognitive appraisals of stressful events, to educate individuals about how their appraisals of stressful events can influence negative emotional and behavioral responses, and to help them reconceptualize their abilities to alter these appraisals, and to teach individuals how to develop and maintain the use of a variety of effective cognitive and behavioral stress management skills. Stress management training, self-observation, cognitive restructuring, relaxation training, time management skills and problem-solving skills have been used in management of stress. 2.8 Summary. Stress is something that all of us experience all along our lives. Psychosocial stress, a perceived challenge to well-being, is an indispensable and influential part of life. Stress has been conceptualized in the literature as either a stimulus, the cause, a response, the result, or as a process in itself, combining both stimulus and response. Stress has been explained in context of the biomedical, psychological and sociological perspectives. Different models of stress are complementary to each other and help in comprehensive understanding of the concept. Stress impacts both the physical as well as the psychological health, and thus is important to study. Various cognitive and behavioral approaches can be used to manage the stress and overcome its adverse effects. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.